Oh,
I'd assumed a spider had come in.
This means that my microphone is slowly shitting itself, so yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, this is a good time for us to mention. For just £20 a month, you too can make sure Nick is good at recording this show. Can we play some footage of like some sad children who can't listen to the shipping podcast?
No, I want to question why the fuck you're mocking my heritage with that shit accent.
That was mocking Bob Geldof and his Live 8 adverts. Also, you're from Cambridgeshire.
That's so... No, I'm not. I'm
I thought you were
Irish.
Saudi.
You were born in Saudi Arabia,
I was
Grace,
born
which
in
is
Saudi, but
could
my
not be
parents
further
are
from
Irish.
Ireland. Fine.
Oh,
I'll do
So
it
hang on a
again.
minute. So basically, this means that Grace can sing folk songs about oil.
So, Nick, I'd like to tell you about the ghoulish behaviour that Grace did last week after we recorded.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh no.
After she tried. So, for listeners, I do homebrew from time to time. I make my own mead, which it's very easy to do. And my blackberry mead was recently finished, and Grace was here to sample some of it. And she got very
2 glasses later.
2 small wine glasses. Like I gave her a small just to make sure. Like, okay, first of all, this is strong, and second of all, I don't know if you're gonna like it. So you had 2 small wine glasses worth. I just got ridiculously violent. I think that's the only way I can describe it. And she ate all the biscuits in my house.
Oh,
So you owe me biscuits, first of all.
this is the thing, dear listener. If you've ever seen Grace, which of course you won't have up until now, she looks like she weighs about 6 stone wet through. And
What do you mean up till now?
well,
Until now.
you know what I mean. They may see us in the future if we do like.
Okay.
I mean, I'm coming down to help you move. We might do like a cruise
That's
selfie,
true.
that sort of thing.
If they stalk
Yeah, or they
her.
could stalk us.
We'll see.
It was really quite funny. This is a regular occurrence because when I did my housewarming, she had a shit ton of buckfast, God knows what else, and then tried to pick a fight with the bodybuilding guy who goes to the fucking gym, who was also at the party.
I think you drank some of the jelly shots as well.
Yeah,
You
it was.
No, I don't. I think
No,
I
yeah, I
left
drank them.
Oh,
Imagine if I had. I brought them round, but they weren't.
Yeah,
no one
we drank them
consumed
afterwards, me and Sophie.
Yeah, everyone else was bringing like nice wines and shit. And I was bringing a load of like fucking jelly shots and vodka, and going, yeah,
No,
frat
do you know what-
party.
so first up, we did not bring nice
I'm
wine.
the frat man.
We brought
Yay.
Buckfast.
That was Grace going on WikiHow the night before and being like, I'm going up to the north, how am I going to fit in?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
No, I was bringing.
After
the
playing some
South up.
Oasis, she decided just to get
Yes. Get drunk, pick a fight,
Oh,
you'll fit
fuck's
right
sake.
in.
drunk. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad you were the entertainment that party. We'll have to do that again
Yes,
sometime.
yes, we will.
Just hand me a bottle and then just watch me do it.
Like a wind-up
Excellent.
doll. It's like,
Yeah.
put the key in the back, wind, hand a bottle to
Here's a bottle of Everclear, go nuts.
forward. So, talking of debauchery,
Ah.
we've all read fics about Norse gods in the last week, haven't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm related to Vikings.
No.
deep
you've
down
just
No,
told
somewhere.
us.
Just the small ones, the little Vikings,
The
not the big
dwarves.
ones. They must have based dwarves off something. You
The
know what
ones
I mean?
that have Irish...
I'd have been that little angry
What, a
person
leprechaun?
that fucking punches people on alcohol.
Grace, you were
Shut up.
telling us about your Irish heritage earlier. Despite being from Saudi Arabia.
I'm not from... Never mind.
Oh, the Irish heritage.
Never bloody
It's like
mind.
St. Patrick's Day, everybody's fucking Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
You promised me you wouldn't do shit Irish accent.
I promise nothing.
Oh my god, you did. You said, alright, I won't do it ever again. And I was like, good. You did it twice now.
I'm not trustworthy.
Absolutely
No.
not.
I love...
Oh, let
Grace,
me try and do a segue.
You've known me for a
Speaking
while.
of other people who are untrustworthy, let's begin with a Loki episode. Look, I can do shit stretches into things as well,
Good.
James.
I'm glad you can, Grace. Sorry. Oh, good. I'm glad you can. Because
Fuck off.
You've known me long enough to know I really like doing
Yeah,
shit
exactly.
accents.
It's Grace plays her records at 33 and a third RPM.
Oh, exactly. Where are Miss Boisterous?
We'd like to apologise to
Sorry.
our Irish cousins.
We'd like to apologise to the population of Ireland, not just for the accents, but just how Britain has treated, how England has treated you.
Well, everybody hates the English.
And how you have just treated them with that atrocity.
So, talking of people who wear a lot
How
of
many
green,
times have we segued this?
we've been reading.
Oh my god! Stop!
Hey, that was not a good segue, admittedly.
We don't have to have a segue. We can just go, okay, quit the fucking band
No.
and get on with our jobs.
I like.
This is the thing. We've had so many segues now. We can rent them out for people to bez around London in.
Incidentally, I need one of you to ask me what I've been reading, so we can segue into.
James, tell us about what you've been reading, for God's sake. People aren't going to sit here forever and listen to us chat shit. They actually want to know. But they actually want what they came here for.
Yeah, you're probably right. So when I set out into this, I knew what Grace likes in a fic, and what she likes in the character Loki.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Grace, you're a big fan of Loki when he's at his most... Not sinister, but...
Loki-ish?
What was the word? You like him when he's a smarmy dickhead, right?
Yeah, I like him when he's a villain, like an actual
Yeah, when he's
fucking
being
villain.
sort of
Okay.
Morally
dubious and sketchy and all of that stuff.
Yeah, little shit, Loki.
Exactly. So I typed in Loki, followed by the word fluff, to find the fic
What?
that you will
Oh,
hate
no.
the most.
How? Oh, you're nasty today. You're playing with fire today, James, aren't you? You woke up and chose violence with the wrong person today, didn't
I
you?
chose this earlier in the week, because I actually do my reading during the week, instead of cramming before we do the podcast. Like 30
Don't
minutes
call
ago.
me out like this. I'll have you know I did it an hour before the
Excellent.
podcast. I think that's plenty of
I
time.
have
Okay.
a horrible feeling that it's going to be just me and you moving your house, Jim.
God, probably. So, this fic is called... Hold on. This is called Golden Arrows by Radar_Girl. And why are you oohing?
It's a train joke. Don't worry.
Okay. That's fine. Let's move away from that then.
And then James is quick to like, now back to
Now
the
back to the
fic.
fic.
before he goes into
I've never
why.
tried to get us on topic faster.
That's fine. I'm
So-
just here to derail this shit.
So, full disclosure, this fic
Hey, more train jokes.
This fic originally started as a different
Yeah.
fic. This
Oh, okay.
fic was originally called Cupid's Target, Frostshield, also by Radar Girl.
Right. Okay.
So that one was 3 chapters long, and it was based on the assumption, and okay, spoilers for Marvel films here. This was based under the assumption that Loki had cheated his death in Infinity War.
Right. Okay.
It was written
Yes.
before Endgame came out, and they just, like many of us, we just assumed, oh right, yeah, Loki, he did like an illusion or something like that. Like that wasn't him
Yeah.
that got choked out.
Okie doke.
So they wrote a fair bit of that. Then Endgame came out, and that wasn't the case.
like-
And then they started a different
Yeah.
fic called Golden Arrows, which is slightly more compliant with what happens in
Oh,
Endgame.
well, it's nice that they're keeping up with the canon, I suppose.
Ah.
That said, I actually preferred the premise in Cupid's Target, Frostshield. So,
Okay.
in the first chapters that came out of that, they're written from the Greek god Eros's perspective. Now, Eros is more commonly
Okay.
known as Cupid. They are the god
Okie
of love, and they have a bow and arrow that works like a love potion. You shoot someone, they fall in love.
Yeah, quite an iconic figure.
And I really like how Eros is written. Like, they're very kind of snarky and sort of an unreliable narrator, and I enjoyed reading from their perspective.
Okay.
But in Golden Arrow, we don't see that as much. So,
Okay.
in fact, it's very much more... It's from mostly Steve and Loki's perspective. Did I mention this was a Steve and Loki fic?
Steve, as in...
Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers,
Captain
that most
America.
American of captains.
Exactly.
Oh my god, Shrimpy
So-
Kid, King of the Void. Oh my god. Okay.
So the
Okay.
summary... Oh, well, I'll go through the tags first. So this is Loki / Steve Rogers. It contains Avengers Endgame spoilers, alt 2012 timelines, fluff and humour, angst and humour, romance, drama and romance, hurt and comfort, possibly unrequited love, mythology, domestic Avengers, Avengers Tower, Avengers Feels, love potion / spell, references to Norse religion, Greek mythology, enemies to friends to lovers, declaration of love, Frostshield freeform, the Tesseract, sick Loki, and injured Loki.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, why are they attacked?
What do you mean?
Like, you know,
What do
is
you
there
mean?
like a whole sort of like fandom out there who just wants to take care of our greasy guardian boy?
I think so.
Oh, fair enough.
Definitely.
Injured Loki has 1,405.
Wow, yes. Sick
Fics
Loki
in
has
it.
like 165, but fucking hell.
It is a trope. Like,
Yeah.
it is a trope where one person's ill, the other person's got to look after them, and they bond over being nurse and patient.
Okay.
as in-
hmm
Yeah.
So this fic begins during the heist sequence in Endgame. Loki snatches the stone. So there was the brief sort of
Okay.
knock around in the version in Endgame. The Tesseract is knocked to the floor. Loki picks it up, is like, well, I'm gone. And yeah, he eats himself. He uses the stone to get out.
Okay.
In this version, Steve notices that Loki has stolen the Tesseract. He's like, oh no, you don't. Grabs onto the
Ah.
Tesseract as well.
Ah, right, okay.
And they both fly off together.
So Loki is telling the Tesseract, I want to leave. Steve is telling the Tesseract, don't leave. The Tesseract is like, I go where I want.
Alright.
The Tesseract has some sass then.
Yeah, in fact, that's almost the exact line. As soon as Steve's hands had touched the Tesseract, the limited consciousness of the Space Stone had presided over an invisible battle of wills. Steve wanted to stay put, and Loki wanted to leave. They were both stubborn. However, this battle had come to its conclusion faster than the speed of thought, as the stone eventually declared, screw it, I'll send you wherever I like.
Hey.
Hey.
And they were flicked across the
Nice.
cosmos.
Oh.
So,
Excellent.
cue the Doctor Who opening titles as they get blasted across reality, as they arrive in what looks to be like a paradise of garden. They could feel the gentle sunshine on his back, and he opens his eyes.
Oh, they go somewhere nice then.
Well, it depends on your perspective. I'd argue this is quite a nice place to go. They arrive, they crash, they just can't see the Tesseract. They look over, a centaur is holding the Tesseract. I
Okie
believe.
doke.
Okay.
And Steve blurts out, shit, we're in Narnia. And Loki looks and goes,
That's
you're an idiot.
Nice.
Centaur runs off with the stone. The boys chase after the stone, because they need it back.
I need to fucking
Yeah,
go home
exactly.
again, yeah.
They chase after it. Loki loses his leg.
what, it just falls off.
It just falls off. I think he trips
Well, it gets it
and it falls
trapped.
off.
And it comes off like
Yeah.
a lizard.
Well, not a lizard, because this is when we find out he has a robot leg.
Why has it got a robot? What?
You'll find out later on. This is the mystery.
Oh, ooh, there's intrigue. Okay.
Yeah, he crawls ahead while Steve runs after the centaur. There's a bit of an altercation. And while the centaur's distracting them... Oh, the centaur introduces himself as Hermes as well, first of all. The Greek god of... He's the messenger, he's also a doctor, and there's a lot of things Hermes does.
Alright, okay.
And...
So
While
they've
he's
made it to
distracting
Olympus, basically.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're on Olympus.
Yeah, because Olympus exists in, like, the Marvel universe.
Right,
And
okay.
And the first comic Loki actually appeared in, he was this redhead that was doing something and being the villain to Aphrodite, I think.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
fun fact.
That's some good trivia.
Right.
So while they're talking with Hermes, eventually Hermes just yells, "Now, Eros!" And they just see a golden arrow fire out of the air, and it lands right in Loki.
Oh no.
Oh,
So
dear.
Eros, more commonly known as Cupid, is the god of love. I think we're all familiar with what Cupid's arrows do in
Yes.
mythology. So yeah, arrow shoots Loki, and Greek gods, being dicks, they laugh around, and then they go, "Time to send you home. Bye." And then they use the Tesseract to send Steve and Loki back to Earth. They keep the Tesseract.
What a bunch of
I take
dicks!
it Loki's leg is still on Olympus.
I think so. I can't remember what happens to the leg.
Loki returns legless.
For the rest of this fic, Loki's leg is not attached. I can tell you that much.
Oh my god.
I can't remember if they bring the leg back, but we cut ahead to a few weeks in the next chapter. So Loki wakes up in Stark Tower. He's got a guard, and they're playing... Over the radio is Stupid Cupid, Stop Picking on Me, the song by Connie Francis.
Okay.
It's playing. It's been playing on a loop, because Tony Stark is an asshole.
Brilliant.
And yeah, they mentioned Stark thought this was a hilarious prank, and it just keeps playing regularly. And yeah, it becomes fairly clear that Loki is in love with Captain Rogers. He's got a guard, I should introduce. His name is Derek. He is a robot.
Right.
And
okay.
So he's just stuck there. He sort of ponders things. He says he'll need a healer to get his leg back on. It is here they mention, or they allude to why he has a robot leg. And it's that Thanos demanded his silence.
Why would that result in him having a robot leg?
I'd have thought they'd have taken his tongue out, but...
Yeah.
So, Thanos likes to take people's body parts and replace them with robotics.
He
Or
does.
at least he did that to Nebula.
Okay.
And it's sort of implied he did that to Loki as well.
Oh, I see. Right.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
while Loki is one of his henchmen.
This is great, this. It was both maddening and hurtful that Steve had not visited him once. Perhaps in hindsight, forcibly kissing the captain had not been the best idea.
Oh.
After all, Steve was a modest man. Passionately kissing him in front of all those soldiers might have embarrassed him.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, it's alluded to in this part, in this section, that as soon as they arrived back on Earth, Loki just went in for a smooch. And Captain America was not impressed.
I can imagine.
World War II Captain America just went,
Modest, from a time when homosexuality was not encouraged.
Yeah.
And neither was public affection.
Neither was public affection. And there he is with a one-legged god of chaos.
Just trying to put his tongue out.
Yeah, who he's presumably having to hold up.
Yeah.
Like, presumably.
I reckon he's princess carrying him. I don't think it's ever stated, but I'd like to think that's what's happening.
I reckon he landed, like, Loki landed face first and then, like, crawled his way up his body. Up his chiseled abs
God,
and just
probably.
gave him a smooch.
That'd be good.
Climbed the man like a tree. I would, fucking hell.
Amazing.
So, yeah, when Thor finds out, he's kind of freaks out about this. He flies off, presumably to get help.
Okay.
Tony's got a shit-eating grin about it. And...
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Loki starts thinking about Steve a bit more. A lot of description of his muscular arms.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we cut ahead. They mention that Loki, he's been feeling ill. Like, the logical side of his brain was trying to think about things. But the logical side of the brain is gone, because we're all about love right now.
Oh,
The effects of Cupid's arrows.
Yeah.
He's been shot with ease.
He really has. So Thor has sort of become his guard at this point, or / carer, and he's the one who brings him his food, like, every day.
Yeah.
And Thor walks in to find Loki creating an illusion of Captain America to smooch.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's using his illusion magic to create a perfect replica of his crush. And they're smooching, there's tongue, it's like, yeah. Thor dropped the tray in shock. Dude. So there's a bit of banter about this. Thor's like, dude, there's cameras in here. Everyone is watching this. Do you not care? And Loki doesn't care. And, yeah.
Oh.
I'm guessing this is it's very unlike Loki.
This is not in keeping at all.
I feel like he would create a hologram of someone he liked to smooch. I don't think it would be Captain America by default, because...
You were going to say himself, weren't you?
Yeah, he probably would. Maybe the female version of himself from the TV show.
Right, okay.
I don't know
so
his
yeah.
level of depravity, but if, I don't know, horses are involved, I don't think there's a bar anymore.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they argue a bit. Thor asks about the leg, and asks if you're okay. Loki's all stubborn, no, I'm fine. What did happen to your leg? Doesn't matter. Yeah. And Thor plays the ace of his sleeve of, Captain Rogers would like to know about that. And Loki just starts blushing, going, shit, he's got me there.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right.
I really like Loki's inner monologue here. Where is it? So, Steve would be annoyed with him. Thor knew that, but he needed to know. They all did. Even though it was obvious Loki would open up to Steve, the super soldier continued to frustrate his comrades by refusing to speak to the trickster. So what if Loki had given him a little kiss? There were many folks in the Nine Realms who would be overjoyed to receive a kiss from an Asgardian prince. The general consensus was that Loki was a lovely bit of crumpet, to use the Midgardian phrase. Thor could not help but feel a little defensive on his behalf. I fully believe Loki thinks of himself as a lovely bit of crumpet.
In that Cockney accent.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a lovely bit of crumpet. Cool, blimey.
Fuck's sake.
So Thor reveals that Zeus has the Tesseract.
Okay.
Right. Oh no.
And Loki is just
he
like...
can warp anywhere to bang around any old person as a
Have you
swan.
read this fic? That's exactly Loki's conclusion as well.
Yeah, but that's just anyone who's read them.
Yeah,
knows
no,
Thor's
that's
just
true.
gonna abuse any power he gets his
Yeah.
mitts on.
So Loki says, yeah, nothing's going to happen. Like, oh, worse, the Olympians are going to fight over it. More likely, it's just going to be Zeus using it to chase men and women with greater ease than he ever has before. He can teleport himself in and out of chambers in a blink of an eye.
Oh god.
Hera will never notice his absence.
Oh, for God's sake.
So yeah, Zeus is just going to use the stone to get around.
Can't believe this. One of the most powerful forces in the universe, and Zeus
He's
is
there to
going
bang.
to use it to shag about behind his wife's
Yeah.
back.
That's very on note for Zeus.
Wow, fucking scumbag Zeus. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen?
He is an absolute
Right.
scumbag.
Fuck's sake.
So yeah, Thorm and Thor both storm out, having not got any information out of Loki. The next chapter, they sort of debate what to do about Loki. And I'll sort of skim through this just for the sake of time. It's all very well written, they're all sort of in character.
Yeah.
And the consensus is, we need to send Captain America to talk to Loki because we can exploit the love in his brain. So, like, get information out of him.
Shitheads. Okay, yeah, but that makes sense.
Yeah. Steve is against this plan because
Because he's
yeah,
a fucking lawful good character, isn't
Yeah.
he is lawful good.
he?
Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah.
neutral good, but he's just gooder than good, isn't he? He's a
Yeah.
goody two shoes.
Yeah, it's like,
fucking
no, I'm
dick.
not doing that because it's manipulative, and
Yeah.
I have morals, and yada yada yada.
I like these
Exactly.
qualities in a real person, but in a fictional person, it's fucking boring.
So, in Tony's words, we want him to cooperate so we can give him a little bit of what he wants, a virgin sacrifice. He's just like, no way. And for the record,
Oh, fuck's sake!
so Steve's
Virgin
allegedly not a virgin at this point,
Allegedly.
and I'm not sure I buy that.
I don't know, because I don't think Shrimpy Steve Rogers actually banged anyone. Did you know he had like loads before he had the serum, right, that made him a buff super soldier.
Hmm.
He had like all these asthma and shit. The cheap treatment for asthma was all sorts of fucking opioids.
Wow.
And so he would have been high as a kite.
Oh my God,
Right.
the old days were fucking
No wonder he
amazing.
was so willing to jump on grenades and all that stuff.
Yeah, like
'Cause
he
he was
come
high
from a
as a
poor
kite.
background. He got all the weird shit. He got the Fallout equivalent of fucking vodka instead of radiation cure or whatever.
Steve goes to talk, to Loki.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, Loki's clearly ill and all of this stuff. And yeah, they're all in love. And when Loki looks ill, Steve goes, "Hey, you're not going to be sick, are you?" And then Loki looks like he's going to be sick just because of on command. So Steve takes him to the bathroom because he needs to, because he's got one leg.
Oh, hang
He
on a
helps him
minute.
to the toilet. He helps him throw up. And that's when he notices what's written on the wall in the bathroom.
Okay.
So Loki didn't have any paper to write love poetry about Captain America. He used his toothpaste
No.
and wrote on the bathroom wall
This is
poem
cringe. This is
about Captain America. And if I may be so indulgent, I'd like to read the whole poem.
Oh my god.
It's a sonnet.
It's a sonnet.
No.
This is The
it's a
Trickster
sonnet.
Tamed by Loki.
No. No.
O Captain,
No.
mine true love and light of my eyes, do but tell me what for you I can do. My magic is but the tricks of a fool, compared to the wonder between thy thighs. Yes, when I first saw you, murder I did. The blame was not mine, when it was thee, who was born so perfect, your heart so free. For your attention I made my fair bid.
Oh no.
Say but one small word, whisper thy command, and my love, I shall become meek and mild. Trickster no more, if held tight in thine hand. I shall melt thine ice, and ye shall melt mine. Let us be as summer to each other. Make magic together, thy ass is fine.
Oh, no. Oh my god.
Loki shyly asks, do you like it?
That's hilarious.
Steve was lost for words.
Yeah, like, I'm with Steve on this, man. Like, oh my shit.
Oh.
So the next chapter,
So Steve then leaves, like,
Steve just
flushes
he's
his
gone.
head down the toilet and gets out.
I'm not surprised. This is a one-legged man who has dragged himself into the fucking bathroom and written in toothpaste on the walls a love poem
Yeah,
to somebody who is absolutely not interested in
yeah.
thy ass is fine.
So the next scene is Steve back in the room with all the other Avengers, and the first thing he goes is, "Just so I know, hands up who knew about the sonnet." And everyone except Thor puts their hand up. And Natasha leans forward and says, "Did he keep the line about your thighs? That was my favourite." Steve is just not having any of this, incidentally. Like, no.
I mean, this is cringy, but I do like the shenanigans between and what
Yeah.
everyone's saying to each other.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Oh, even if it is at Loki's expense.
So,
oh my god.
while they're debating if there's any better things they can do about this, Frigga shows up,
Mhm.
along with, I'm probably going to butcher this, the name is Eir, E-I-R. She
Okay.
is the goddess of mercy and healing from
Yeah.
Asgard.
Okay, yeah.
And so they have come to help fix Loki.
Oh, good.
His mum and the nurse have come down.
His mum and the nurse. The mum has only arrived in holographic form, though, because at this point in the story, the Rainbow Bridge is broken, and it's hard to send people.
Oh, okay.
So they go up to help fix Loki. When they get there, Loki is kind of in... He's having a bit of a fever.
Yeah, it's probably the side effects of the fucking drugs he's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the drugs and also pain, because his leg is infected as well.
Ooh. Oh, dear.
Didn't think
And...
Asgardians got infected.
I know, right? Well, he got it in Olympus, so maybe...
Oh god.
Yeah, maybe
God
there's disease.
hurting
Maybe there's
things.
disease up there, like god diseases.
Yeah.
Oh, alright,
So he's-
alright, never mind. Carry
There's a
on.
brief section about him dreaming about Steve. I'll let Grace read that in her own time, because I know she's
No.
very fond of this ship.
Shut up.
Really?
Chapter... No.
Alright, see, alright. Just to clear the air, right? I don't mind the shit between Steve and Loki. I'm just still cringing and reeling from the toothpaste sonnet.
That's fair.
I'm really glad that you felt the need to say that.
I know, yeah. But I do like that they've attempted a quite a good sonnet, to be honest.
I did like the sonnet.
It was well done, actually, but it's just I don't want to admit it.
So while they're heading up,
my ass is fine.
Loki seems to have flipped out, and he's used his magic to destroy the guard drone. So they start hurrying up.
Okay.
Thor reached the room first, hammer held aloft, with lightning dancing over his huge hands. He asked the shield soldiers to step aside, and he knocked politely, because all Asgardian princes are brought up to have good manners. Then he kicked the door, knocking it clean off his hinges.
Nice.
And I love that image. I'm just like, right, my mum's here, I best be polite, so... Quick knock on the door, then...
Can I come in? Bang!
All while he's got lightning around him.
He's a prince, but he's a Viking
Yes.
space prince.
Exactly.
Very on brand, I like it.
And because Loki's flipping out and doing magic, he turns Thor into a frog.
Hey!
Hey!
Like, walks in, he's just like,
Aw.
right, magic. Thor becomes a frog.
He's got the little cape and everything.
I hope so.
Oh,
The hammer remains the same size.
oh no. Oh shit.
He's
Doesn't
fine,
matter,
though.
he's still worthy, so
He is still worthy, he can fly with the hammer, I assume. She does the same thing to... I've forgotten the name. Eri, the healing god?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, boom. Can't do it to his mum because she's a hologram, but because she's a hologram, she can't pick him up. So it's all up to Steve
It's
to
all
help
up
him
to
back to bed.
Stevie Rogers. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So, yeah,
How
picks up Loki
convenient.
in his big arms, and yeah, gets him back to bed, and soothes him and looks after him. And Thor's asking if he can help, but no, you're a frog. Just fucking go, wait outside. And that's where we end up, because this fic isn't finished.
Oh, are they still
When
updating
was
it?
it last updated?
They are not still up. It was last updated March of 2020.
Oh, so they could be still working on it.
I don't know. That's like a year and a half. But that's also why I wanted to cover this. Please update this. I would like closure.
Yes. Yeah.
You probably won't get it.
I would also like closure on Cupid's Target Frostshield, the previous fic. Because, I mean, to be honest, neither of these are that canon compliant now we've seen the Loki series. So, I'd like to see them both updated, but mostly this one.
Yeah, it
Please.
was.
I don't know. We could have a timeline where he picks up the Tesseract and all that bullshit happens.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, so the main thing that isn't canon compliant in this is the robot leg. Because there's a scene in episode 1 of Loki where they ask him if he's got any robot parts. And if he does, he'll get vaporized when he goes through that scanner. And he has that big bit of doubt of like, shit, do I have robot parts?
Am I a robot?
Yeah. So, thanks to that, this isn't canon compliant. I don't care. This is still good. And yeah, more of this, please.
Yeah. It
That's
was
all I
good.
have to say.
It was good fun.
I came here because I wanted to annoy Grace with fluff. I stayed for the sonnet and everything else, really.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's what I've been reading. So anyway, Nick, what have you been reading?
Okay, so as my co-hosts know, dear listener, one of my sort of tactics when we pick something to review that I don't know a lot about, I go out and find a crossover with something I do know a bit about. And we happened upon a very, very strange amalgam of two fandoms. If one of these fandoms is actually a fandom and not just something that was written many years ago and is still enjoyed by many people ever since. But this is called A Loki Christmas Carol by At the Bottom of Everything is Loki.
By your good friend Charlie Dix.
Yeah.
I remember now.
C. Dicko. Big up C. Dicko, yep.
These are the same jokes you made last time. Move on.
It's a callback. We need to fill the time in.
Don't make excuses to me. Get on with it.
Okay, so I'm sure that most people here know the story of A Christmas Carol, but just in case you don't, follow along with me, and we'll get into it. Okay, so turns out that Ebenezer Scrooge in this is played by Loki.
Okay.
Okay.
His partner Jacob Marley is played by Obadiah Stane.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Ironmonger.
Ironmonger.
He
Yeah.
was the first MCU villain in Iron Man.
Yes. Yeah. He was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was Tony Stark's father's ex-business partner.
Yes.
Yes.
He ran the business with Howard Stark and sort of took over in a weird way while Tony Stark was growing up.
I should probably explain, dear listener, the other funny thing about this fic is that I've actually done research for it. Okay, so yep, first line, it's pretty standard Dickens. Obadiah Stane was dead. Not that his partner, or former partner it should be said, Loki Laufeyson minded. With his partner gone, he had all the shares and all the money to himself. So, Loki, your typical Scrooge, slave driver, works hard, works his staff hard.
This is written like a Victorian gentleman would have written it as well. I like that.
Yes, a lot of the dialogue is lifted straight from A Christmas Carol as well, so which is nice. Okay, so basically, it's Christmas Eve. Loki turns up for work and says hello to his faithful clerk, which is not Bob Cratchit, it's Tony Stark.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay.
Which I find a little bit odd, because of course, you get Tony Stark, high-flying businessman, as this,
Yeah.
just sort of like low level. Yeah, he's a mouthy dickhead, and if you've watched Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, he's very far from a mouthy dickhead. So, he's gone from, like, being who Elon Musk wishes he was to being Bob Cratchit, which is a little bit odd. But anyway, let's carry on. Tony Stark says to him, "Oh, good morning, Mr. Laufeyson, and Merry Christmas Eve." And, Loki, typical Scrooge, "Christmas bar humbug." So he walks to his desk, settles in, and his brother bursts through the door, who is...
I assume he kicks it down, to be honest.
From the last one, he probably does. So,
brother.
Just to embellish this tale, the door of Loki's office is blown in by dust and lightning. Fucking shocks the thing. And of course, who walks through the door but Loki's brother Thor, who is here to spread the Christmas spirit. And in true A Christmas Carol style, he is there to invite Loki to Christmas dinner.
Oh, that's nice of him.
Which he declines, of course.
Of course. That's on brand for Loki, to be honest, anyway, isn't it? Like, fuck hanging out with Thor.
Yeah, that's it. There's a bit of back and forth between them, Loki being the miserable Scrooge that he is, Thor trying to sort of pull him around, like, come on, I haven't seen you at Christmas for years, yada, 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 that sort of thing. Then, of course, there's another knock at the door, and two people who work for a charity come in. This is Clint Barton and Natasha Romanoff who come in, and they're collecting for charity.
Oh,
I wouldn't trust him with charity.
You wouldn't?
She's probably going to stab you.
Ah, fair enough.
Well, they're nice people, but they are also assassins.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. So, yeah.
I just assume this is an elaborate disguise that, offering charity, then they open the basket and it's got, like, his bow and arrow in there. And like,
Probably right, but, there's the whole sort of, Dickensian exchange. Well, they've asked him for charity, and Loki's like, well, let's see, are the prisons still in operation? Well, I sincerely remember paying my taxes this past season. There for you is my contribution.
I pay the NHS, therefore it's enough.
Yeah, I pay the taxes to keep the prisons open and the workhouses, therefore that's where poor people can go.
Would you mind if I took a brief moment to be political?
Obviously not on this
If
fucking podcast.
you absolutely must.
It's funny that this is the archetype of asshole Victorian businessman, and he's still paying taxes, unlike the current businessman.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Funny
Spending all their money on space rockets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Pay your taxes, you bastards.
Yeah, that's it. Starbucks, pay some fucking taxes. Seriously, pay some fucking taxes. Anyway. So we have, Loki, the archetypal miserly Victorian businessman that Scrooge obviously is, gets them to go away. Of course, this is the bit where Tony Stark comes to him and asks if he could have the day off tomorrow, since it is Christmas after all.
To be honest, I keep imagining Tony as Kermit the Frog now.
Yeah. The Muppets Christmas Carol, of
Because
course.
the Muppets Christmas Carol is firmly in my brain.
Yes. After this exchange, they both lock up and go home. Just as Loki is about to go into his house, which he keeps, cold and dark because they are cheap. Who should walk out but the girl he has a crush on, Eleanor Robinson. And you're going to have to sort of tell me where she fits into the MCU, because she was the only one I couldn't find.
I have no idea.
I think it's either an actual Dickens character or an OC.
You see, it wasn't...
I don't know who Eleanor Robinson is.
Oh, wow, okay, it might be an OC then. But yeah, so they have a bit of conversation. Like, Loki is absolutely smitten with this girl, but of course, she's this beautiful, vital person, and he's a gnarled, old, miserable, sort of businessman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gay, if you want. So,
If you will.
yeah, so she invites him to Christmas dinner as well, so it's not as if people aren't trying, My goodness, then you'll have to join me and my family. No one should be alone on Christmas. But he declines. No, thank you, truly. I much prefer my solitude. So, yeah, he goes into his house. He's sat in front of a very, very small fire in his cold and dark house because, of course, it's cheaper. And who should show up but Obadiah Stane, the first of the 4 spirits that are visiting our boy Loki tonight. So, basically, Obadiah Stane's got down to the underworld, decided it's a bit of a shit place, which kind of sounds like an understatement, and he's come to...
Just a bit.
Yeah, that's it. He's come to warn Loki, look, you better change your ways or you're going to end up like me. And,
In prison.
Yeah, basically, imprisoned forever in a damned hellscape, being made to atone for all the crimes that he committed against his fellow man.
On the plus side, he'd probably go to the Norse hell instead.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Which he'll probably have a better time with, because his sister runs it.
Oh, well, there we go, yeah, he
or
might get
daughter,
preferential...
depending on which chronology we're on about.
Yeah, he might get preferential treatment then. He might
so.
be not totally screwed, but anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, here's the shtick. 3 spirits are going to visit him tonight to try and get him to change his ways. You've all seen Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And Obadiah Stane vanishes, Of course, Loki goes to bed, thinks, bah humbug, falls asleep. And that's when he wakes up and finds the ghosts of Christmas past, who are none other than Steve Rogers and James Bucky Barnes.
Oh.
And not...
That makes sense, being from the past.
Yeah, and not Jimmy Barnes, the Screaming Sky Cowboy. I've only just made that link. It made me really laugh. But anyway. So, okay, they turn up.
I wish he was the MCU film.
Yeah, it would be good. But yeah, they turn up. They do the whole, Ghost of Christmas Past thing. They take him to his old school. They show him all his old school friends, which he used to enjoy playing with. And they show him staying at the boarding school when all his friends had gone home to their families for Christmas. Because he much prefers his solitude, apparently. He doesn't want to go home and deal with his mum and dad and stuff like that. So, and then there's a different memory where his mum turns up. He says, I know you don't get on with your dad, but we've got an apprenticeship for you and Thor. And that's his induction into the world of business.
So I'm just imagining Thor learning business.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He seems a poor choice for learning anything, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it. Our fucking hammer-wielding...
The Himbo King.
Himbo being, yes. There is quite a sort of sad memory which is relived where Loki gets the sad news that his dad has passed away, leaving his mum without any money whatsoever. And he recalls
this is the only continuity that Loki is sad about Odin dying, because most of the time he orchestrated it.
Yeah, that's true. It's they have just lifted characters from the MCU and dropped them into a Dickens setting with their own sort of backstories, which sort of came from that, I think. This is how I'm reading it anyway.
Makes sense. So,
yeah, his mum dies on Christmas Day 2 years later, which sort of kind of explains why he hates Christmas and forgoes all the,
Is that canon to Christmas Carol?
I think it
God.
is, yeah.
People would have way more sympathy for Scrooge if he just openly told them, no, my mum died on Christmas, that's why I don't like Christmas, piss off.
But then how do you explain Thor?
Huh?
Because, like, Thor's already jolly on Christmas.
Oh, right.
and,
So I was thinking about the original.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
good.
this is...
I mean, Thor will always be jolly. He's a human Labrador.
Oh, yeah.
This does fit well with A Christmas Carol, because in every adaptation of A Christmas Carol I've ever seen, Scrooge's brother turns up and tries to get him to come to Christmas dinner, which he eventually does in nearly every adaptation, apart from this one. And you will see why next.
Okay.
Okay, so that's over with. Loki finds himself back in his bed, and then, of course, he hears a deep, jolly laugh and voices and lights downstairs. And for the first time in years, his parlour was full of the most delicious food one could possibly imagine. So he walks in to find
shit.
the ghost of Christmas Present, who is none other than, in this fic, big green friendly giant Bruce Banner.
Oh my god!
I like the Hulk as Christmas present. That's a good time.
Yep, the Incredible Hulk. Absolutely marvellous.
Yeah, good choice.
So, of course, if you've seen Christmas Carol, you know what happens next.
I've only seen the Muppets one.
Watch them. They're really good. Better still, read the book, which I haven't done yet, so you can tell me how it is.
Tell a lie. There is one other
This
one.
is a chaos. This is all just fucking... Guys, fucking, what is this?
I know, right?
It's good. I like it. I like the idea of the Incredible Hulk being the ghost of Christmas Present.
I'm not saying the fic is bad. The fic is good. I'm just, what is this telling?
Yeah. It's fantastic. Okay, so
Oh my lord.
they go flying around to show Loki what's happening. They end up next door with, the lady he likes, Eleanor, getting ready with her family. Then they go to Tony Stark's house. They're sort of like trying to get ready for Christmas dinner and stuff like that, being as happy as they can about it, being poor. And, Tony Stark walks through the door, and yes, here we go. Yeah, Tony Stark walks through the door, and who should follow him? Walking on a crutch with a gammy leg, but Peter Parker.
I had a feeling it was going to be Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, the only reference point I have for this is when, was it Tobey Maguire played Peter Parker?
The original film Spider-Man.
Yes, the original film. So that's who I'm imagining.
Probably Tom
The
Holland.
Tom Holland Spider-Man is very much kind of looks up to Tony Stark as his father figure.
Ah,
So,
that would make sense then.
yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's got to be Spider-Man, right?
Anyway, he comes in, they're all getting ready. His wife is none other than Virginia Potts, or Pepper Potts, if that makes any sense to you.
It does.
Yep.
Yeah. Called Pepper because she sprayed him with pepper spray.
Excellent.
Is that really the...
Yeah, she's his CEO and like secretary and things.
I didn't
and,
know
like,
that's why she was called Pepper.
Yeah, I think there was a point where he was coming on to everyone and she was just like, fuck you, sprayed
What,
him.
just
He was
fucking
like, "I
maced
respect-"
him?
Yeah, just maced her boss, and he was just like, you know what, you're good at your job and I respect that. And she's just like...
Considering she's played by Gwyneth Paltrow, I'm assuming the spray was like weird vagina scents.
Don't cross her with... I know she's played by Gwyneth Paltrow, but...
Knowing Goop that
Literally.
Gwyneth Paltrow owns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like...
Don't remind me that Goop exists. Thankfully, it's been banned in the UK.
Oh,
so.
nice.
Oh, excellent. So, Peter Parker is very ill. He probably won't see another Christmas if...
He was bitten by a spider, presumably.
Yeah, quite possibly. Although you've ruined one of the most somber scenes in Christmas Carol. Like a family trying to get ready for...
Cripple is walking along and he gets bitten by a spider.
A family trying to make the best of what could be their last Christmas.
You
with
know
one
what?
of their
I think
family
I can ruin
members.
this even more for you, since you're saying it was Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You've got this sad cripple boy trying to survive at Christmas, and then his boss walks along and goes, "Give me pictures of Spider-Man, damn it!"
Oh no.
As Jonah J. Jameson shows up in this performance.
Fucking
Oh, the
amazing.
spider, was it
Probably would be a
particularly
better Scrooge.
venomous?
Yeah.
Like, imagine Jonah J. Jameson being visited by, like, ghosts to tell him to stop being so mean to Peter Parker.
He'd charge them for wasting his time.
would.
Yeah. Absolutely. You've ruined this lovely scene of everybody being as happy as they can, even though they've got fuck all and one of them is grievously ill.
Yeah, James, you dickhead.
I'm sorry I ruined Christmas.
Yeah, as is said to in this line, he asks Bruce Banner, what's wrong with the boy? Bruce Banner says,
By a spider.
much, I'm afraid. If these shadows remain unchanged, I see a cane without an owner and a chair where Peter once sat. Bruce spoke. Loki truly felt what remained of his heart breaking, but the spirit spoke again. But what? If he's to die, he should do it quickly and decrease the surplus population. And that was a line that was said in the first chapter when...
Oh, yeah. Throwing his words back in.
Yep, and that's the Ghost of Christmas Present. And his own words echo back to him.
Dishing out the facts.
Yeah, the Ghost of Christmas Present disappears and he finds himself in a dreary, cloudy cemetery.
I'm sorry to keep going back to the Muppets one, but this one gave me nightmares as a kid.
Do you know, one of the scenes which sticks in my head about one of the Christmas Carol adaptations is the one with Patrick Stewart. When he turns up in this bit, he encounters the hooded figure, which Loki is now encountering now. To go and visit what's happening in Christmases yet to come, they go through this huge, dark, swirling vortex. And that still sticks in my head even now.
Too.
Yeah.
I was really frightened of A Christmas Carol when I was younger. I watched I don't know which version it was, but it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it looked like a Western attempt at Ghibli.
Ooh, no thanks.
And it was really fucking creepy. Like, it was creepy all the way through. Like, there was one child, like, the Christmas present guy was like, oh, this boy's desperate and like, he'll do anything. He'll grow up in desperation, he'll become a fucking monster, and he turns into this weird skeleton shit, and it's just like, and he'll die. I was like, why is this aimed at children?
Yeah.
But it was like Watership Down sort of era in animation where people were just like, let's scar the children.
Yeah, we don't talk down to children, let's give them nightmares.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Will we find?
No. No.
Yeah, fucking Land Before Time is the one that sticks out.
Animal Farm should not have been a fucking children. It should not have been universally rated.
Yeah.
Plus,
that was
with
horrendous.
A name like that as well, you're like, oh hey, a farm with animals.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Not George Orwell's fucking Animal Farm.
That's it.
I didn't know.
When that horse was going to the glue factory, I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
I ripped the tape out of the VHS. I was just so upset. I was like, this isn't how it ends, and I think my mum took me into therapy after that, but that's not the point.
To be honest, the ending's even worse, if I remember the book right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know about the end, because I had to relive that shit in English years later. And I'm wondering why I was having a breakdown in the back of English lessons. Just like,
remembering the horse.
I was like, oh, the horse. There are no horses in this. I was like, yes, there is.
There will be.
But he's already at the glue factory, so you don't know about him.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
so,
tell us.
Yeah,
tell us how this goes.
Let's wrap this up because I'm starting to cry.
Yeah. While we're on the subject of childhood traumas, it took me a little while to work out who the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come actually was.
Okay.
But then I reread it, and I think I worked it out from this
Ronan,
sort of paragraph here. It wasn't Ronan.
Oh.
A chill ran down his spine, and he felt he was not alone. Loki turned, and the figure, more giant than the great green spiritual figure that Bruce had first appeared to him as was, shrouded in tattered rags, with a hood so heavy and dark that no face could be seen. But forevermore from that day, Loki could swear he saw a flash of purple neath the spirit's garments. Yep, it's everybody's favourite fucking purple chin man, Thanos.
Oh, God.
Perfect.
Amazing.
He does not speak in this. He absolutely does not speak in this, but...
Yeah, just this gauntlet comes out and points to shit.
Yeah, he sort of takes them to places by clicking his fingers.
Really?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Of course.
This is so on the nose.
Yeah.
I like it, but fuck's sake.
That's it. He takes them to places by, clicking his fingers. They go to the Stark household again, and it's not full of laughter and light as it usually is, but, everybody's a little bit depressed, trying to put a brave face on it because, of course, Peter Parker has sadly passed away.
Oh,
They do the Scrooge grave scene, where where Loki finds out that the person who died in his house was actually him, and that's why the chambermaid and the scullery maid and stuff have helped themselves to his belongings and gone to flog him. At last, he breaks down. Spirit, please, answer me one thing. Are these shadows of what will be or what could be? Is this inevitable? Men can and have changed.
That's why they cast Thanos.
Ah, right.
He does that big monologue of I am inevitable and all that stuff.
Ah, that's a callback to that then. Oh, that's good. That's even better.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Please, Spirit, speak to me. Say this can be changed. I will keep Christmas all the year. Keep it in my heart. I will be generous and giving. I can change. And then, of course, he wakes up in his own bed.
I mean, he's still gonna die. Like, you can't change the gravestone.
Everyone dies eventually.
I know. This was the whole sort of plot hole thing about A Christmas Carol. I just think he's worried about dying sort of friendless and alone in an uncaring universe.
And the scullery maid and the other maid just chatting shit about him as they nick his shit.
Yeah. Chatting shit about him.
Hammering him.
Yeah, hammering him.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, that's it.
So I suppose he runs off and goes buys turkey and...
Yeah, that's what I was just looking to. I'm wondering who the boy is.
Give Tony Stark a raise.
Yeah, exactly. This is it.
Tiny Tim skates and shit. Yeah.
So they don't specify who the boy is, but I'm hoping he has an eye patch and is played by Samuel L. Jackson, because we've not seen him yet. And I think that would be really funny. What day is it? Motherfucker, it's Christmas Day!
I'd never even considered that. That's brilliant.
I would really like that to be the case, since he's not here yet. Honestly, they should have just sent him as the one ghost. He could have fixed this, no problem.
Yeah, actually, you don't fuck with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm the ghost of whooping your ass. Let's
I'd
get
be
this
surprised
sorted.
It wasn't Mobius that showed him all this shit like he did in the TV series.
This was written pre-Loki TV show.
Yes, yeah.
Published 2019.
But anyway, continuing on, he bumps into his brother, who says, the dinner invitation's still open. And this is where it differs slightly from A Christmas Carol proper. Loki's not going to dinner with his brother.
Okay.
He'd love to. He would absolutely love to, but he says, I regretfully do have other plans for this day. However, I would like to have you round for supper some night next week. How about it? And of course his brother accepts, and it's all lovely. Then Loki goes, now give us a kiss.
What?
Right.
Loki smirks.
Is this secretly a Thor Loki /fic, and you've just been leading into that?
It's not. It's not.
This is the
Give us a kiss.
in a deleted
They get all
scene
tongue.
from the original Thor film. Thor's getting nervous about his coronation, and Loki's just chatting shit and just trying to, gives him this speech. Oh yeah, you'll always be a true brother to me. And he goes, now give us a kiss. And he's like,
yeah. He literally says, "Sod off, but Merry Christmas." Okay, so he gets to Tony Stark's, and he does that whole sort of thing, where he's pretending to be all serious and stuff, and being like, "What are you doing here? I didn't give you a holiday, yada yada yada," something like that. And I've just had about enough of this, and therefore I'm about to raise your salary. Yeah, that one. And yeah, he carries the goose in. It's all lovely and things like that. And Tony Stark and his wife Virginia say, well, would you like to join us? And he says, look, I really would, but I've still got, other plans. And he turns up.
I've still got money to spend.
Yeah.
And earn my way out of the grave.
That's pretty much it. And he turns up at Eleanor's quite nicely
hell.
And knocks on the door, and he says, I suppose I'm here for dinner. And, she takes him inside, and they,
Did she even invite him?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
She did the day before.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, the day before, yeah.
Okay.
And he's, they sort of sit by the fire to talk for a bit before dinner's ready, and he says, Eleanor, I've not been a kind man. I was selfish, unkind, full of hatred. I've wanted to say this for some time now. I think you are wonderful and beautiful and kind, and I would very much like to court you if you shall have me. And, of course, she accepts. Because this is Christmas.
Because it's Tom Hiddleston.
It's Tom Hiddleston, and it's Christmas, and he's been a miserable bastard all his life, but he's decided to change his ways thanks to,
God.
a few spirits which visit him in the night. And, they have dinner, they have a bit of a dance, have a bit of a, shindig, and it ends there. Merry Christmas, Loki.
Happily ever after.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Loki. Merry Christmas, Eleanor. And it truly was.
Until the TVA come for him for making this horrific
For
anomaly.
changing the fucking timeline.
Yes.
Tim was supposed to die. You changed the timeline. You're getting pruned.
Yeah, well, there we go. I mean, I enjoyed this, but then again, I quite enjoy Christmas Carol. I look forward to... Don't get me wrong, I'm utterly sick of it.
How many times do you watch it? A year?
Yeah, how much?
Well, put it this way. On the run-up to Christmas, Sophie's mum's a huge Scrooge fan.
Oh, really?
We watch all of them, basically. I've seen pretty much all of them at some point in my life. So,
Oh, bloody hell. So you thought to yourself, alright, I won't watch the Marvel movies, I'll just rewatch the same different versions of A Christmas Carol and review
yeah,
that.
basically. You know,
Oh my god, Nick!
stick to what you know.
Amazing.
So,
Oh
during
my
this,
God.
I actually remembered there is another version of Christmas Carol that I really like that isn't the Muppet one.
Really?
And that's the Blackadder one,
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was
where
good.
it's in reverse.
Going
Yeah,
the
it is the
complete
opposite,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
this really lovely man. He gets visited by ghosts, and he goes, on
By
reflection,
accident, 'cause they
I'm
got the
better
wrong
off
guy.
being an asshole. So
Yeah, that is
he then decides, yeah, I'm going to be this chaotic
a good
person,
one. I
and
really enjoyed the Blackadder
I
Christmas
feel like
Carol.
that would fit this. I think that would fit Loki a bit
Yeah,
better.
he starts off with being this
But
lovely man.
I still liked this, but I think I'd like that as like a Loki origin story, where he gets visited by 3 ghosts of chaos, and he's like, sure, I'll cut her hair off.
Oh, fucking excellent.
So Grace, what have you been reading?
I have been reading Hell is Other People by Moose Pulheim. This
Oh.
is a mature rating. Mature rating.
What
Yeah.
makes a mature reading?
It's still mature reading.
It's like one of those Chuck
So-
Tingle books.
Yeah, it's a normal reading that we strip off halfway through.
Either way.
Can I just say that Muspelheim is probably my favourite realm?
I know! It's so sweet, isn't it?
Travelling to Muspelheim, the one that the Norse
The
people don't
10th
talk about
realm.
often. The
Yeah.
10th realm, it's full of mooses? Meese?
Meese.
Let's not go into that.
It's full of
Moose.
moose and car accidents.
Okay, so some of the tags. Thor isn't stupid. Loki isn't sorry. No redemption arc, which is what I'd like in a Loki
God damn
fic. But there is an exploration of blue and orange morality and morality in general. Major AU. Only thing I'm dragging from the movies is characterization. Frost Iron Freeform. Probably gonna get dark. Angst, humor, fluff. Also Sartre for some reason. Team
Yeah.
as family. Thor is an old cat lady. T.S. Eliot The Wasteland. Prose Edda. So much more. Sounds like crack fic, but isn't really.
Isn't it?
And-
I'm so
No.
confused by those tags.
Yeah, that went everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that as for the Sartre thing, they begin with, like the chapter will be called something funny like cats and arseholes. And
It
then
starts with a
it'll have
quote,
like a little
yeah.
quote from Sartre. So, like, for example, as for me, I'm mean. That means that I need the suffering of others to exist. A flame. A flame in their hearts. When I'm all alone, I'm extinguished by Jean Paul Sartre from No Exit.
And immediately below that is, so what if I ate the cheeseburger?
Yeah,
Tony
exactly.
Sha-
So here it
Okay.
is. So it starts off with Tony shouting, "So what if I ate the cheeseburger?" And he's throwing shit at Loki, and the bastard just dodges it easily and just stalks a bit closer. "It doesn't mean I belong to you." "Oh, not to me," says Loki lowly, a smile like honey slowly spreading across his face. "But with me, surely you've heard of Persephone. A cheeseburger isn't some fucking mystical pomegranate, you smirking lunatic. You aren't even Greek." And throws another wrench. And then Loki's spreading his hands wide like a showman. I think you'll find that a pomegranate symbolises the fruit of the dead. Your cheeseburger, made of dead flesh, was topped with fruit. It's close enough for the symbolism to bind. Aha! There's no fucking fruit on a cheeseburger. Tony says triumphantly, finger pointing accusingly. I fucking win. No going back to Crazy Town with you. I stay here in my workshop and you fucking leave before I call the Avengers. Oh, Stark. A tomato is a berry, you ignorant tool. Like, well, shit. And then darkness just comes in his vision and just fucks off. And then it just pans to 7 months earlier. Like how all this shit came about. So it just goes to Thor thinking about how Loki is like cats and stuff like that. And this is all in the midst of Loki summoning this massive monster. And to put it in Tony's words, 70-foot tall marshmallow man, who the fuck let Loki watch Ghostbusters? Shrieks Tony, attacking a giant white monster with terrifying visage, large eyes scanning back and forth in a ceaseless sentry. For all its menace, the Marshmallow Man is not exactly destroying anything, hasn't touched anything, it's just wandering around like a suspicious distraction. So Thor's just thinking of how Loki's like all his cats. Thor being lonely and missing his brother has gotten himself 5 fucking cats all named after Loki. Or different
Wait, they're all called
names.
Loki?
No, they've all got... So Loki has had lots of titles over the years. So, we've got Skywalker, we've got Silvertongue, we've got Lysmith. Yeah, Silvertongue, it just hides under the bed. There's Skywalker, that will surprise Thor by jumping on him from on high. There's Lysmith, which is a fat tabby that cannot or will not learn to use a letterbox. There's a name in desperate need of some more vowels, which is Bright Orange Menace.
I think that D is a
whenever
vowel.
He strolls down the hallway. Huh?
Maybe that... Oh no, there's an E. There's an E in there.
There is one E, but it needs more.
I think that's pronounced Hedringer. Or...
Shut up.
No, I don't know. That's the thing.
I know.
I'm taking a guess. I'd like to
Uh,
apologise to the people of Norway.
Yeah,
More like Snorway.
Apologise to the Norse. For
Norway,
everything.
more like Smallway.
More like Snorway, am I right?
No, shut up.
I Kenya.
That's a very old internet
Finally,
reference.
Welcome
there's
to
Loki,
Kenya.
a black
We got
kitten
lions.
that spends much of its time yelling at other cats and pushing pottery off the windowsill. And Thor loves them all dearly and buys them many gifts which are carefully ignored, just like living with Loki again, he thinks.
I'm here for this version of Thor. Just
Yeah, he's a very supportive guy.
Yeah, just goes home to his
And
cats.
So I'm here to stop you, Thor says half-heartedly. And Loki's just like, whatever, you know. I already stole what I came from. I'm just enjoying the show, and you know. He notices that your heart really doesn't seem into this, because these days Loki is, after the Chitauri invasion and him trying to take over New York, Loki's not so much trying to invade the city anymore, he's just here for shits and gigs. Like,
why else would you summon a
it.
Marshmallow Man?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, why don't we talk about this back in our apartment? Maybe we could go back to your shoebox and your 5 cats. You've turned into a Midgardian matron, my brother. And it's like, oh, what? Has he been in my apartment? He's sneaking around my apartment? Well, please don't tell me you didn't name them after me. Loki begs. I didn't name one of them after you. Yeah, I named all of them after you, he thinks. Fucking ridiculous. Either way, Tony Stark comes out of nowhere, shoots at him, think fast, Rudolph, and then it's like, Loki's just like, I'll ride your carcass like a sled down through the gates of hell, and shrieks, ripping at the metal, kinky, and then he's like, more fucking fighting ensues, and yeah, we're slowly working our way back to it. It's not a kidnapping, it's an unexpected vacation in an unmarked windowless van, is chapter 2.
God, these names are fantastic.
Yeah.
I know, aren't they fun?
Yeah. Like, this is the exact opposite of the fic Nick read.
Yeah, it is.
Like, Nick's was very grounded, and
this just isn't.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And why are we starting with all these quotes from Jean-Paul Sartre?
I know, they continue on, and like, you kind of read them, because they're all really sort of they've got so much gravity, and then you come to the fic, which has got so much bouncy dialogue. You're just like, oh, this is different. Oh, it's so good. And so Loki then reappears in Tony Stark's workshop later, and he just sort of comes over like, you know, I'm gonna fucking hold you hostage because you destroyed the thing I tried to steal during our little scrap, and you're going to build me something in return. And he's just like, nah. And Loki's like, look, you don't have a fucking choice, mate. I'm going to rip you to shreds. And he's like, okay, maybe you do. And he says, I want you to build me an arc reactor. And he's like, well, how do I know you're not just going to kill me if I build you this, you know, arc reactor? And he goes, I'll do a deal with you. And he puts his hand out like one of those fucking Faustian handshakes, and he's like, and he's just like, I don't know about this. This sounds like a deal with the devil. He's like, are you gonna do it or not? And he's like, okay, alright, fuck it. You know, and he's thinking to himself, you know, I'm not actually, I'll just make him something shit, right, and that will just break on, or not work properly.
Like
but then he feels like the magic tendrils go into his arms. So, oh fuck, this is magic bullshittery. Now I'm gonna actually have to do it. And Loki's just smirking, like, yeah, you do. So he gets whisked away to a literal cabin in the woods, and Tony's just saying to I've watched enough horror films to know this isn't fucking good. A fucking cabin in the middle of the woods. But he goes inside, and it's like this massive TARDIS sort of situation where he's got this massive laboratory in there as well as other things, and like a kitchen and all this shit. And he's like a little bit jealous. He's like, why the fuck doesn't mine? Like, I'm a multi-millionaire. Why doesn't billionaire even? Why the hell don't I have all these gadgets in my house? Either way. So he's given all the kit to work with, and he's decided, because he's sort of seen Loki in his weird sort of deals, he thinks that some Persephone shit is going to happen, so he makes a point of not eating anything Loki gives him. Not a single thing. So he essentially goes on hunger strike and builds this arc reactor. And Loki keeps coming to him with loads of different nice foods and things like, I don't know, like salmon with a fruity sauce and shit like that. And Tony Stark's constantly checking, what kind of fruit is this? Is there fruit in it? And he's going, no, it's marmalade. It's like, that's a fucking fruit, I don't want it. Anything with flesh and fruit is not. And by this, and like, I think the weeks roll on, and he's just like, I'm dying here, I need something to eat. And he's like, what will you eat? Loki says. It's like, I'll have a big whopper. And so Loki vanishes off, comes back, and he's like, you're king of burgers, or whatever the fuck he says. It's like, needs a tighter control of his kingdom, like, his servants are ridiculous. And he's like, yeah, well, that's the world of takeaway, my dude. And, like, has the burger, bites into his, thank God. And then Loki just starts smiling, and he's like, oh no. And yeah, later he gets dropped back off, and finds out that big whopper was indeed a binding contract for him to stay with Loki a little bit longer. He took 6 bites of a burger, and now he's sort of stuck with him for 6 months. Here's what's interesting. Of all the things Loki decides to do with Henry to bide his time and spend his time with him, he decides to take him to a restaurant because neither of them know actually how to cook. and he's just like, why the fuck are we here in disguise? And he's just like, well, we're going to make these people some food, but we don't know how to cook. And he's just like, your point? It'll be an experience. So yeah, they just make any old shit and they hand it out. And like the
sorry, I think I've got lost here. Why are they running a restaurant?
For shits and giggles. No, they've just turned up as chefs.
And they're just, oh my, okay.
They're just serving people.
I thought he was making an arc reactor.
I was thinking this.
He's fucking made it, and Loki's got it. No one fucking knows what he's gonna do with it at this point. But yeah, they're just fucking about, going and pretending to be haute cuisine chefs and serving rich people shit they've thrown together.
Honestly, that's amazing.
and they're like, oh, tomorrow how about we be lawyers? And it's just like, what? Like, Loki, what's wrong with you? He's like, oh, I don't give a shit. They go to a shop instead. But that's when I noticed that this fic is 31 chapters long, and I was like, oh my god, I can't research enough of this to tell you how it goes, but I'm having loads of fun with it, so I think I'm going to carry on reading it, and I think I'll recommend other people do as
well. I kind of want to go back and read that.
It's quite funny. The characters are quite sweet, and everything's wholesome, and it feels like it's back in the golden era of like when all the Avengers just used to live together in fan fiction and everything was just nice, and there was no Thanos, it was just Loki pissing about and
yeah, he was like the
time.
scamp next door.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
he
good.
was just a rascal at this point, and it was like, devil we know, eh?
Yeah,
like,
good.
And Thor's just like, oh, I want him to be nice again, and it's just a nice dynamic. All the authors kind of agreed on it in one point in time. And yeah, it was nice to see that again. So yeah, definitely. Thank you, Moose Bullheim.
Yeah, I think you should come back at some point.
Also, the best thing is that they've finished it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, good.
It's not like it's left like last updated 3 years ago or anything. They've finished it, and you can read all of it.
It has been.
So yeah. Well happy.
I just skipped to chapter 31 just out of curiosity.
Oh, don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
I won't spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Yeah, shut the
This
fuck
is good.
up.
I have noticed it has been added to 2 collections. One's literal god tier fics, and the other is very good fan fiction. So
it's
okay.
also part of I
It's
Give
renowned.
Up and The High Ground as well.
yeah, not just us who thinks this is very good.
We should probably look into literal god tier fics at some point.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of our role to sort of find stuff like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
I
think giving everyone a fair shout of what
That's
we
true.
see. I liked the underdogs of fan fiction, to be fair. I think it's like with anything, like big authors will have more following and everyone sort of heard about it, but it's nice picking out like little hidden gems.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is fair. Well, yeah, we'll always read all kinds of things, but I will investigate what counts as a literal god tier fic.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, sometimes you've just got to go with something just because it's popular, because it's usually popular for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guess so.
But no, that was, from what we've seen, that is a roller coaster of a fic.
Yeah, that was fun. It was.
Yeah, sorry about the word vomit, but I was just like, there's too much
this
in
is
here
fine.
to talk about it, because every paragraph had gold in it, and I was just like, oh man.
Yeah, like I got lost with you explaining it. That wasn't on you. That was on. Wait, they're running a restaurant now.
Yeah, pretty much.
And...
like it carries on moving. It doesn't get stagnant anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. Also, I'm on a time limit.
That's fine.
Oh, I should probably mention it's a Loki/Tony fanfic.
Oh, I gathered that.
Yeah, we got that.
From Loki tricking him with food.
Yep.
Like...
I don't recommend that as a romantic endeavour to anyone.
No, don't.
Probably not encouraged.
Oh, one question for the author, potentially. Is this a reference to the Robert Downey Jr. thing? Because there's that story, right? Are you aware of Robert Downey Jr.'s redemption arc in real life?
No.
It was put into the first Iron Man film as well. It was referenced there too.
Robert Downey Jr., I think he was a child star originally. He was suddenly in acting quite young.
Right, okay.
And he had a bit of a drinking, drugs problem, and he was out of it for a while. And he was generally considered like a deadbeat actor, sort of, not Mel Gibson tier, but sort of around that kind of...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And apparently one day he went to, I think it was Burger King. He went to a burger restaurant, he had just a terrible burger. And it was like, oh, this is awful. And that snapped him out of it, and he went to rehab, and he turned his life around.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I felt like that when I went to Burger King.
And then Iron Man was his first big role after that, I think.
No, it was,
Yeah.
hang on a minute, wasn't he Sherlock Holmes at some point?
After.
Was
Yeah,
it
he
after?
was.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
This is 2011 was Iron Man released.
No, Iron Man was 2007.
Oh, no, it's 2008, mate. Thor was 2011.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
Dynamite by Teo Cruz was the same year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any memories before that.
You blanked out before. You blanked out anything pre the MCU.
Pre-Dynamite.
Yeah.
Nothing was important until then.
But yeah, I was just wondering if the cheeseburger thing is a reference to that.
Oh, hopefully.
But
Yeah,
you never
that'd be
know.
quite nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Tony Stark in film is just reference to like the food, and that's only because it was a
Oh, I
reference
see. I
to
didn't realise that
Robert
was
Downey
in
Jr.
the films as well. It's been a long.
I said that
I'm-
before you told the story,
know.
and you were just you carried on. And you're like, God, you don't listen to me. I'm not respected enough on this show. I want a raise.
I don't pay you anything.
A raise from nothing.
Exactly. I want a raise.
No. I can give. Hang on. To the audience, I can give them a raise if you subscribe to us and give us money.
Oh, shill.
No,
As a reminder, we
Shame
have
on you,
commissions
James.
open now. If you'd
shame on you.
like to pay us to read a fan fiction,
Oh, for fuck's sake. No one's going to do that.
well, you never know.
Shut up, Grace. They might. Stop trying to dissuade people out of giving us money.
I mean, I can
Yeah.
see why that's bad.
We
economy.
read good. If you want us to read good on your fix, then you can commission us. The
Yeah.
link will be in the show notes.
We read dead good, mate.
We read dead good, honest.
Mate.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's well sick,
We
innit?
read well sick, bruv. So, that's probably all we've got time for, because
Yes.
these episodes are always quite a long one to edit, and we've been recording for a while, so that's going to be fun.
This is the thing. We always find too much to talk about when we find fics, which is good. To be fair.
Yeah, I'd rather we have that problem than the opposite of that problem.
Yes.
But yeah, join us next week when I never know what we're going to do. We'll figure
We're
it
going
out.
to sit around and pull things out of a hat, probably.
I'm glad
So-
you said hat.
We'll see what we can. We're going to sit around and pull things out of our asses.
As is tradition on this show. But
Yeah, join us next week for that.
thank you for listening, either way.
Yeah.
And yeah, join us again in 2 weeks.
Yep. Good night. God's bless.
Good night.
Bye.